Hey, this is Jacob, and in this video, we're going to go over how to market your business. Alright, so let's dive into how to market your business. Now here's the thing, according to Hubspot, 63% of businesses say that generating traffic and leads is a top marketing challenge. And a lot of the times when a business person is thinking about marketing their business, that's ultimately what they're looking to do. They're looking to generate more leads, they're looking to get more eyeballs on the website, and hopefully those eyeballs and those leads will eventually turn into sales. So if you have a business right now and you're struggling to grow your business, you're struggling to get eyeballs on your website, then I think you're going to find this video very useful for you. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to devising a marketing strategy, and I can understand how it can feel a bit overwhelming at times, because I know for me personally, when I first started learning marketing, it just seemed like there was all these different moving parts and stuff, and it could be a bit much to kind of take in all at once. So we're going to go over each part step by step, piece by piece, so that way hopefully this all makes sense for you and you could take whatever makes the most sense for you and use it to really devise a marketing strategy, and hopefully you'll have a much more holistic point of view when it comes to marketing your business. So the first thing that you want to do when it comes to marketing your business is that you want to have a very clear understanding on who your target market is. Because that's the thing, your target market or your ideal customer, this is a person that you ultimately want to be thinking about when you're creating your marketing campaigns. You want to know that person better than they know themselves. When you're able to have such a deep knowledge on your target market, it becomes a lot easier for you to create a marketing campaign that attracts that ideal person. So here's a few questions that you should be asking yourself when it comes to creating your target market. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what are their goals and values? Now, what is it that they're ultimately looking to gain? Now, what is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for them? And what are the things that they try to live themselves by? What are their values? Another question is, what are the challenges and pain points? What are the things that are keeping them up at night? Or what are the things that are frustrating them? These are things that you want to be crystal clear about when it comes to creating your target market. Another question is, where do they get the source of information? So who's already influencing your target market? Is there a certain thought leader that they look up to? Are they reading certain magazines? Are they attending certain shows? Are they participating in certain events? These are the kind of questions you want to be asking yourself. Also, what objections might they have to your product? You see, if you can already get into your prospect's mind and understand the objections that they may have to your product or service, you can incorporate that into your marketing, so that once they come across your product or service or your offering, all the questions are going to be answered, and it becomes much more likely that they're going to purchase your product or service. Also, what role do they play in the purchasing process? Now, depending on who your target market is, your target market may either be a primary decision maker, meaning that they make the ultimate decision when it comes to purchasing your product or service, or they may be an influencer, meaning that they influence a primary decision maker. So depending on what role that they play will also determine how you craft your marketing campaign. So depending on what type of business you have, it may be appropriate for you to come up with a couple of different customer avatars. I highly recommend starting with one, but once you get one dialed in really well, then you can start to branch off and start to create multiple avatars, and that way you can appeal to different segments of your market. Next, you want to identify your unique selling proposition. So you want to ask yourself, what is it that makes you different from your competitors? Because here's the thing, if you try to be like everybody else, that is the surest way, and I promise you, the surest way you are going to get ignored in the marketplace. So you need to be thinking about, what is it that makes you different? How can you differentiate yourself? Is it in terms of service? Is it in terms of the price? Are you the highest price service? Are you the lowest price service? These are the kind of questions you want to be asking yourself. If I was to give you an example, right? I actually got this from the guy named Seth Godin. So let's say if you were to see a cow, right? Let's say you're just driving along one day and you see a cow appear over on the horizon. You might not think too much of it because it just looks like any other regular cow. Now imagine you went and you saw a purple cow. And you just by looking at this purple cow, you see that it's very difficult, not to look at this purple cow, because it's so unlike anything that you've ever seen before. And that's the idea when you want to come up with a unique selling proposition. How can you make yourself so different that you just attract attention to yourself by default? You want to think like a purple cow. And another great question you want to ask yourself, this actually comes from a guy named Neil Patel, who's a very popular blogger and marketer in his own right. Ask yourself, what is it that your business stands for? When you can get clear on what your business stands for, this could kind of clue you in on how your business is different from every other business that's out there. Next, you want to create a statement of value. Now, statement of value, here's the thing. Now, we need to understand why I said that people purchase products in the first place, because it's not about your widget, it's not about your service, it's about a transformation. That's what people ultimately buy when they're purchasing a product. They want to get a transformation in their lives. So your job as a marketer is that you want to articulate how your product is going to change that person's life. So the way you actually want to do that is that you want to define the before state and you want to define the after state. So in the before state, so depending on which way you're going, so let's say you want to go with the before state, you want to ask yourself, okay, what is it that they have in this before state? What are they currently feeling right now? And also, what does an average day look like for them? So to give you like a simple template for you to create your statement of value, you just replace it in with your product. So its product name enables customer to experience ideal after state. So you just plug that in with your information relevant to your offering, and right there you'll have yourself a statement of value. Next, you want to define your brand. Now here's the thing. Now I found this really cool definition of brand by this place called Lucid Press, and the way that they define brand is the sum total of all the impressions a customer has based on every interaction they have had with you, your company, and your products. Now I thought that this definition was super powerful because this is ultimately what you want to be cultivating, and this is what you want to have like in the back of your mind when you're creating your brand. Like, how is it you're coming across to your target market? And this through every touch point, whether it's through your blog or through your social media, or maybe it could be through a service rep. However the case may be, you want to make sure that your brand is consistent and it's on point. So here's some questions that you can ask yourself to help you with defining your brand. So ask yourself, and this is a very simple question, why does your company exist? Like, why did you even bother coming up with this company in the first place? Second, what's your story? Now, what led you to this point right now where you decided that you wanted to create a company? This could also clue you in on creating your brand. Next, what problems do you help your customers solve? Is it something that you do that is better than what any of your other competitors are doing? Or is it something that you do that's something your competitors aren't even doing at all? You know, it's a very powerful question you can ask yourself. Next, you want to understand the 4 P's of marketing. Now, the 4 P's of marketing was a concept originally formulated by this guy named E. Jerome Carsey back in 1960, but I still think that it's highly relevant today, especially in this modern age of marketing. So this monocle is predicated on a deep understanding of the target market's needs and wants, which is why I started off the beginning of this video with really understanding your target market, because that's ultimately where all of this starts. Once you have a clear understanding of your target market, it's just going to make things a lot easier moving forward when it comes to creating your campaign. So the first P of the 4 P's is the product. So the product is, here's the thing, if you want to build a sustainable business, if you plan on being in business for a long time, for like many years to come, you need to make sure that you have some sort of quality product in place, because you might be able to get away a little bit from having a really crappy product, but you know, over time, especially with the internet and stuff, people are going to talk, they're going to post negative reviews, then you're going to get out of business really fast if you're just trying to sell like crappy products. So hopefully if you're watching this video right now, you do have like a decent product or a very high quality product that you're looking to promote. So you want to ask yourself, like, when it comes to your product, is there anything that's unique about your product that could separate you from the marketplace? Does it have any unique features? Does it solve a particular problem very well, or a problem that, you know, people don't realize is even a problem? Or can you explain also how is it that your product works? Because it's not saying, it's cool to have a product and all that looks really nice, but if you can't explain how this product works, then it's going to be very hard to market it, and it's going to be very hard for people to find a use for it. Also, are there proven results with using your product? So if you already have testimonials or case studies with people using your product, this could be very useful when it comes to marketing it, because now you can show people, hey, other people have gotten results with this product, so you can get results with this as well. Or there's a greater likelihood that other people can get results. Next, is this product multifunctional? Can your product like do multiple things at once? You know, if your product can replace a few things at once, like, you know how they have like those all-in-one printers where you can like copy, you can scan, and you can fax. Like, if your product can do like multiple things at the same time, you know, people can find that extremely useful, and your product might be able to place 2 or 3 products they may already have. Next, placement. So placement essentially refers to where people can buy your product or your service. So this could be either online, it could be offline, or it could be both, you know. So what's cool is, so you want to ask yourself, where is it do buyers already look for your product or service? Is it online? Is it offline? And is your product available at the right place, at the right time, and in the right quantities? Now, if you're selling digital products, you don't really have to worry about this too much, because, you know, digital products has like virtually an unlimited amount. So if you sell physical products, this is something you really want to pay attention to, because if people are having trouble with accessing your product, then it's going to make it hard for you to, you know, put yourself out there and, you know, make lots of sales. And also, what do your competitors do, and how can you learn from that and or differentiate? So again, you want to be looking at your marketplace, because chances are, if you're in some sort of niche, there's probably other people already in there that have already been operating in that niche for a particular while. So you want to pay attention to what they're doing. Maybe you take a little bit of inspiration from them, or maybe you can see what they're doing, they do the complete opposite, as a way to just differentiate yourself entirely. And the next P in the 4 P's is pricing. So with pricing, now see, pricing your product is both an art and a science. You know, there isn't really like too many hard and fast rules when it comes to pricing, but I am going to go over a couple of different ideas to kind of give you an idea of how to price your product. But here's the thing, you definitely, when it comes to like pricing your product, you don't want to make it below the cost that it takes to create your product, because now you're losing money every time that you make a sale. Now, if you have like some sort of funnel place where you could afford to like lose some money on the front end, that's a little bit different. But generally speaking, if you just have one product that you're selling, you want to make sure that whatever you sell it for is able to cover your costs for creating that product. So this is one type of pricing that they have, which is called keystone pricing. And essentially, the keystone price is when you take the cost that it makes to create a product and you just double the price, and you just double it, and then that's how much you sell the product for. So that could be, so let's say, actually, just to go back to the previous slide, so let's say, for instance, you have a product, let's say you're selling a toothbrush, and, you know, it costs us $5. So the keystone price for that toothbrush would be $10. So pretty much you just double $5, and then you got $10, and that's what you would sell our product for, you know, minus, yeah, so you just sell it for $10, and that's it. So next you have the MSRP, which is also known as the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So this is a pretty straightforward way to price your product, where pretty much you just sell your product for whatever the manufacturer puts on the label. So you really don't have to think about it too much. They don't do this for all products necessarily, but it could be very useful for figuring out exactly how to price your product. Next, there's something called psychological pricing. So psychological pricing is based on scientific studies of how we react to certain numbers. So to give you an example, like you take this number, right? So we have $399.99. Now $399.99, like for most of us, we would know that to me equals like $400, right? But the thing is, with psychological pricing, when you see $399, it's actually, we register it as a much lower number as compared to like $400. Like $400 just seems like a much higher number, even though it's really just off by a cent or so. So this right here is an example of like utilizing psychological pricing. So next you have what's called discount pricing. And just to be clear, these aren't all the types of pricing that's available. I'm just going over a couple of them with you just to kind of give you an idea. So this type of pricing is a strategy that involves selling your goods below your competitor's keystone or their MSRP price. So next we have promotion. So with promotion, this is just simply just getting the word out about your product or your service. So a strong promotional strategy can definitely help put your company in a favorable light. So there's different types of ways that you can go about promoting your product. One type of way of promotion is called traditional advertising. And generally this is just used for generating awareness. So you got banners, you got billboards, stuff like that. This is just for creating awareness that your product or your company exists. Next you have is online advertising, which has really blown up within the past couple of years, which just involves using web-based mediums to deliver promotional marketing messages to consumers. Now, back in 2017, digital advertising actually spent worldwide about $229 billion. And mind you, right now I'm recording this video in 2020. 2017 was only about 3 years ago. So you can best believe that digital advertising is going to continue to rise and more money is going to continue to get pumped into it. So next we have direct mail. So direct mail, funny enough, the first mail order direct mail business was started back in 1872 by this guy named Aaron Montgomery Ward. And direct mail is still used today. Maybe not as effective as it was back in the day before like online advertising and stuff, but it's still a very effective way for getting your message out in front of the right people. So if this is an interesting statistic, people who see a direct mail piece are actually able to remember that brand 75% of the time compared to 44% via digital channels. Next we have PR and sponsorship. So public relations, and this definition comes from the Public Relations Society of America. Public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and the public. So just to give you an example, so this is an organization known as the Ace Walk New York. It's a very big it's a very big walk that happens pretty much every year at Central Park. And interestingly enough, with the AIDS Walk, they have like a bunch of different sponsorship opportunities because the AIDS Walk is very positive. It helps to generate awareness about AIDS. It helps to generate a lot of charitable donations. By being able to associate your business with an event like the AIDS Walk, you're able to paint yourself in a very good light. And a lot of companies do actually sponsor the AIDS Walk as well to help with generating that awareness. So next you have what's called personal selling. So personal selling is either way you or a trained sales representative meets with a prospective client to sell your product or your service. So the sales process was actually first articulated by a man named Norval Watkins back in 1918. So the first step to a sales process is prospecting, which is pretty much just identifying leads and prospects that you want to sell to. Next is qualifying leads, which is determining if the leads actually represent genuine potential customers. Is it somebody you actually want to spend time on, or should you pass them over? Next is the pre-approach, which is preparing for your presentation. So this includes doing customer research, goal planning, scheduling an appointment, etc. Next is the approach, which is where the salesperson actually meets with the potential customer. Needs assessment, where the salesperson evaluates the person's potential needs for the product. Then the sales presentation, where they present the product in a way that appeals to the person's desire. Handling and objections, which usually falls into one of four categories. Either they believe the product is either too expensive, they don't need it, they're not willing to commit, or there may be some sort of unknown factor that you haven't accounted for. Then there's closing, where the salesperson seeks to gain a commitment and asks for the sale. And then the follow-up, where the salesperson sets up another time to speak with the prospect. So the next thing when it comes to marketing your business is that you want to make sure that you set aside a marketing budget. Now here's the problem. The problem is a lot of business owners are afraid to invest into the marketing because they don't want to lose money. But here's the thing, there's no way that you're never going to lose money when it comes to business. Just like with personal life and stuff, sometimes you're just going to lose money. So to be afraid of losing money over your marketing, over something that could potentially help grow your business, is just silly, because you need to invest into your business. Even if that investment doesn't generate something right away, you have to be able to think long term. So here's the thing, if your target market doesn't know you exist, they're not going to buy from you. So that's how important it is to market yourself, because by marketing yourself, by putting yourself out there, your target market starts to know who you are, and then over time that target market will get into your funnel, will start to know, like, and trust you, and eventually they may end up becoming a customer. But they need to know that you exist first. So here's the thing, the first thing you want to do is you want to set goals. You want to set clear goals when it comes to your marketing. Then you want to determine where it is you want to spend those funds, where you want to use like online marketing channels, maybe like Facebook ads or Google ads or YouTube, what have you, or maybe you want to invest more offline, like flyers with like banner ads or what have you. And then you want to assess the data and make the changes. So after you go and you allocate your budget accordingly, you want to see how that budget is performing and see if you're getting the most out of that budget. And if you're not, then from there you can start to make general tweaks and adjustments, so that way your budget is being used in the most efficient way possible. So next, you want to create a website. So here's the thing, as of October 2019, there are over 4.47 billion people have access to the internet. That's a lot of people right there, and it represents a lot of opportunity. So here's the thing: if you have a business and you don't have some sort of online presence, like at all, like you don't have some sort of website or social media or something, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. And you're missing out on people that could be potentially coming across your business who may actually want to do business with you. But if you don't have some sort of presence in place, like a website, then you're really missing the boat. So the platform that I highly recommend to look into is WordPress. That's actually the platform that I use to build all of my websites. It's very well supported. There's a lot of different plugins. There's a lot of different ways you can go and customize it. So I highly recommend looking into WordPress when it comes to building your website. Next, you need to build a sales funnel when it comes to marketing your business. Now, you got to do it. We live in a day and age, yes, having a website is important, but having a sales funnel is absolutely paramount. So what is a sales funnel? So a sales funnel is a useful way for visualizing the journey your target market takes on the way towards becoming a customer. So it's just a metaphor, sort of an analogy, so to speak. So you kind of lead them on the way towards becoming a customer, because you have to understand that when it comes to marketing, a person doesn't just go from being a stranger to automatically to becoming a customer. There's a process that has to be in place that guides them towards becoming a customer, and the sales funnel allows us to visualize that process. So according to Digital Marketer, there are 5 necessary components that you need in place when it comes to building your sales funnel. So the first thing that you need in place is you need a lead magnet. So what a lead magnet is some sort of ethical bribe. It's a piece of value that you give to your target market in exchange for the email address. So this could be some sort of template, it could be a video, it could be a PDF, just some sort of value that helps your target market move towards attaining what they want, that you give in exchange for the email address. So that's what a lead magnet is. So after the lead magnet, you want to have a tripwire in place. So a tripwire is normally a low dollar offer, which is also a piece of value. It could be a little bit more valuable, a little bit more helpful than a lead magnet, but it's not really the complete and total solution to the problem. But it's usually some type of low dollar price. It could be anywhere from $7 to $27. Not something that breaks the bank per se. So after the tripwire, you want to have your core offer. So this is your main product that you're selling, your bread and butter product. So this is what comes after the lead magnet and the tripwire. So this is where it should be at some sort of price that makes sense for your core offer. So after the core offer, you have what's called the profit maximizer. So this builds on top of the core offer. Maybe it could be some sort of done for you solution, or maybe a coaching program, but something that adds even more value to the core offer, and is normally a lot more expensive than the core offer. It's something that where you really generate the most profit, hence the term profit maximizer. And then finally, you need to have some sort of return path in place. So this could be either in the form of a retargeting ad, or maybe you're sending them emails, but you want to have a way where you're constantly communicating and you keep on top of mind with your customer, perhaps to sell them more products or services, but you want something that they can constantly just keep coming back to you over and over again, indefinitely. So next, when it comes to marketing your business, you want to build an email list. Having an email list is super important. So according to the Direct Marketing Association, email marketing yields an average of 4,300% return on investment for businesses in the United States. Now, I can't say the same for other businesses in other countries, but especially here in the US, it makes a lot of sense to be building an email list and to communicate with that email list on a constant basis. So there's a couple of ways that an email list can help you grow in your business. For example, there's acquisition, which is just getting new customers. You get someone on your email list, you communicate with them on a constant basis, and over time, they become a customer for your business. Then there's also branding as well. So we talked a little bit about branding earlier in the video, but email is another way where you're able to generate those additional touch points, and you're able to build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience. So if every time they see an email and they get value out of it, and they enjoy hearing from you, and they keep opening your emails, that's helping to build that brand, it's helping to build that awareness, and they may reach a time where they may be ready to buy something for you. But that's what you can do with email, by just constantly staying in touch with your audience. Then there's traffic. Email marketing is really great for generating traffic to your website. So let's say, for instance, you just finished writing a blog post on your website. It came out really good. You want to kind of give it that initial boost. All you have to do is just type up an email, send it to your email list. They click on the link, they go to your blog post. Now you get more eyeballs on your website. It's a beautiful thing. Then there's engagement. So, let's say same thing. So let's say you go and you write a post like on Facebook or like on Instagram. You want to kind of get that initial engagement going. You write an email to your list. You send them a link to your social media post. They go to that link, they click it, they like it, they comment on it, they share it, and now you're able to get those additional social signals and help to get metrics going like on your post, and just kind of build that engagement. And next is direct sales, just generating more product purchases. So, we talked about this a bit before when it comes to acquisition. You have something that you want to sell, and it could be a product or a service. Once you have people on your email list, it's just a matter of sending a quick email, telling them about your product or service. Maybe you're running a sale or something like that. You shoot them over a link, they click on it, they go, they purchase it, and there you go. You have another product sale. Can't beat that. And also there's referrals, there's increased word of mouth, because another thing that's really cool with emails is that people can just very easily forward the email that they receive for you to another person. So let's say if they really get a kick out of emails and they enjoy it, they can send it to somebody else, and somebody else gets puts onto you, and maybe they may feel inclined to join your email as well. So now you're able to build your list through other people, especially if you're able to delight them and they're able to get a lot of value out of being on your email list. And also there's reactivation, because there's always going to reach a point where you're just going to have some people that just kind of fall off, then just they stop engaging with you as much. And email can be a really powerful way to kind of re-engage those people and get them back to opening and clicking on your links. And who knows, they may even decide to purchase something, if they feel so inclined to do so. So next, when it comes to marketing your business, you want to establish a social media presence. So here's the thing, because your prospective customers are going to most likely be on social media. I mean, social media is practically everywhere. There's a ton of different social networks out there. It's very likely that your customers are on social media. And with social media, you can help with increasing your own brand recognition, because once they're able to see your brand like in a bunch of different places, to see it on your website, to see it on Facebook, to see it on YouTube, they're able to recognize your brand more, and it will, over time, there will be a greater likelihood of them actually doing business with you. So what's cool about social media is that many of these social media platforms already offer free accounts, so you don't have to worry about really any out-of-pocket costs unless you decide to advertise on them, such as like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. But for the most part, you can get yourself set up absolutely for free. It's just a matter of you just setting up your account and just being consistent with posting and engaging with the people that are on there. So next, when it comes to building and marketing your business, you want to build a community. So here's the thing, people like to feel like they're part of something bigger. So when you can go and you can create that space where people feel like they're a part of something bigger, it's very likely they're going to want to do business with you, because you're giving them that sense of belonging. It's a very deep-seated need for us to belong to a group of other people. And speaking of groups, the groups are defined in a very particular way, because you want to make sure that what you're building is actually like a community. So you want to make sure, first off, that you have a segment of people that you're bringing in together. You want to make sure that it's primarily built off member-to-member relationships, and also there needs to be some sort of a shared goal, experience, or interest among the group members. Once you have these three pieces in place, now you have the foundation for building a very powerful group. So here's the thing, having a community can help to increase the revenue and reduce the cost for your business. A lot of business owners, I should say, don't really realize like the value in like having a group and having a community, but there are actually real world tangible business benefits to building one. So for example, let's say for increasing revenue, it helps with increased retention and reduced churn. So let's say you have some sort of like subscription product that you sell. You can have a group that's attached to that subscription product, and by building with those people and by engaging with those people on an ongoing basis, you're able to increase the longevity of that particular customer and reduce the likelihood of them deciding to cancel their membership. Next, groups can help with increasing purchase frequency and recency. As I said, so with groups, you're able to constantly connect with your target audience. You're able to, give them value and to share valuable stuff with them. And so there's a greater likelihood over time that they're going to purchase something from you, and they're going to purchase from you much more often. Then there's also increased brand loyalty, because as you connect with them, as you give them a space to connect and be with people, they're going to feel like a great connection with you, which will make them much more likely to purchase from you later on down the road. And there's also increased customer advocacy as well, because you're giving them that space to connect with other people. And then reducing calls, this call/ticket deflection. So let's say you have somebody in a group and they have a particular question that they need answered, in regards to your product, your service, your niche, or what have you. So they post that question in the group, and maybe you may not be able to get to them at that particular time, but maybe somebody from the group is able to get to them and they're able to answer that question. And as a result of that, you don't have to worry about them setting in some sort of ticket or something like that to have a question answered. The people in the group are able to answer that question on your behalf. Then there's also reduced marketing costs. So what's cool about a group is that you already have a group of people that you can connect with and that you can talk to. So you don't have to necessarily worry about looking for other people. You can just keep selling to that group. And something you're going to hear time and time again when it comes to business is that it's a lot easier to sell to someone that's already purchased from you than someone that hasn't purchased from you. So if these people in your group have already purchased from you, these are going to be your lowest hanging fruit when it comes to making sales. Also, product and content development. You see, by being able to bring a group of people together, you're able to get ideas from these people about how they could improve about how you could improve your product and service, or how you can come up with new products that may be answering challenges that they may have. So it's really useful in that aspect when you have a group. You have a group of people that you can ask questions that could give you valuable feedback, and you can use that to create offerings for them that will really be beneficial to them. So next, when it comes to marketing your business, you want to choose your traffic source. So when I talk about traffic, I'm not talking about being stuck on the road type of traffic. When I talk about traffic, I mean eyeballs on your website. And that's essentially what we're talking about here. Traffic is the process of getting eyeballs on your website, because ultimately, if you have a website and people aren't visiting it, they're not clicking on your links, they're not looking at your stuff, then you have a very quiet and empty website, and that will not make you money. So here's the thing, all web traffic ultimately falls into two distinct categories. There's paid traffic and there's organic traffic. So paid traffic is kind of like a water hose, meaning that you're able to kind of turn it on and off at will. You just go, you turn it on, you have all the traffic that you want, and when you turn it off, you just turn it off, and that's it. Now with organic traffic, it's kind of like the rain, meaning that you never really know when it's going to come. Sometimes it might come a lot, sometimes it might not come at all, but it'll come here and there. So here's the thing. I mean, it might seem like more attractive to have paid traffic than organic traffic, or organic traffic than paid traffic, depending on how you feel inclined to. But it's really best to have a combination of both. You want to have some organic traffic going, so that way you don't have to constantly pay for traffic, but you also want to utilize paid traffic as well, so that way you're not constantly dealing with the inconsistency of organic traffic. So they both kind of balance out each other. So anyways, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you got a ton of value out of it when it comes to marketing. I know this was probably a lot of information to digest in one. So if you feel that you need to watch this video a few more times, then by all means, please do so. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon, so that way you can become part of the notification squad as soon as I drop the next video. So this is Jacob Laguerre signing off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.